Welcome Gulf Coast independent wrestling fans. Once again, the Front Row Fanatics are live and in color somewhere on the internet. Today, we are going to do a little discussion with Mr. Fantasy here about the upcoming SWA Southern Wrestling Alliance show in Crestview, Florida next month in June. Tag team partner Cheech here. We're rocking, we're rolling, we're ready to go. Talk about the show. Bam! Fantasy, you are the man. Would you like to talk first? Cheech, questions? Whatever. You are our guest. Feel free. You rule the show, man.
You got the floor.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. I just want to start out by saying thank y'all for doing a video for the show for me. I know y'all have a lot of fans that watch y'all's stuff. So, I am a strong believer in if you're going to run a show, you got to promote it the right way. And I try to get as much publicity as I can. I do the show once a year, and I do it once a year mainly because funds. I know a lot of guys run shows monthly, and a lot of those guys don't draw well, because they don't do it right. I figure if I'm going to do it one time, I'm going to make it the biggest show I can make it, and I have a feeling that this show that I'm putting on Saturday, June the 25th at the National Guard Armory in Crestview on Highway 90, I feel that this may be the biggest show I've ever had because of the names that got coming.
Well, nice. past track record shows that continually every year your attendance is solid and stays well above, and not meaning to be insulting to anybody else in the area, but well above your indie show around here, 300, 400, 500 you had a couple of years ago. Yep. Up there in Crestview. I mean, that place was slam packed. Last year I went, there was at least 325 people there for sure.
I think we ended with 378, I think was the final number. My accountant, as I'll call her, she makes sure everybody's accounted for.
Oh yeah, Mama's making sure the money's coming home, baby. I'm all about it.
But honestly, I just do it because I because I have the ability to, and B, I just like to have a well quality show one time. Not to anybody around the area. I love going to NHW. They put on a very quality show, and he's been drawing quite well over there. APW in Pensacola, never been there. Met Tiny the other day at the Bob Little show. They draw real well. 150, 200 every Sunday. And I said, I'm not here to take away nothing from nobody. But I am here to try to run the best show that I can run one time a year.
Now, I unfortunately have never been to one of your shows, and I've been hearing throughout the Gulf Coast that it is the WrestleMania of the Gulf Coast. What would you say contributes to that?
Let's back up to that statement. I got a lot of heat for that statement, but I'm gonna go on record right now, and I know the man I'm going on record for will tell you himself. Colby Godwin is the one that named it the WrestleMania of the Gulf Coast. I just took it, thought it was it was kind of a neat, little thing to say and do, and so I just went with it.
Nothing wrong with that.
A lot of the boys, you'd be surprised how many phone calls I get. As soon as the word gets out that I'm putting the show together, I get more phone calls from some people I don't even know. Hey man, I heard that putting the show on and you run a really good quality show. And I'm like, hey, if I can fit you in, I fit you in. But to be honest, I try to use the best of the best on the Gulf Coast is what I try to do. I'm that one promoter that is willing to go out and work with everybody, not just myself. I work with any promotion that wants to let me use their guys.
Sure.
That's what I want to do. I want to use the best of the best. That's why I got the Cameron Frost and the Chris Ties and the Colby Godwins and the Ray's boys, and the list goes on and on. For this one show, the feature Carlos D'Angelo is making a return for this one show. So it's just things like that I try to do.
Been needing a dose of Los, baby. Sure. One of the things that I've truly been looking forward to this show. And like I said, the naysayers can say what they want, but every year you look at the numbers of your show and it's getting better. Sure, you had peaked out at that one 500 plus, but you steadily draw way more than anybody else. And like I said, it's due to to the fact that it's well planned, it's well organized, there's a lot of thought gone into your show, there's sponsors. I mean, you can tell, and I'm not, like you said, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but you know, professional, because when you have all your bases covered, it makes the rest of your job so much easier because you know everything's covered and all you got to do is concentrate on the card, getting the talent together and everything, and then going out there and having everybody, you know, excel at what they do in the ring. And I'm sure that takes a big load off your shoulders, you know.
Yeah, you know, it does. And I don't know, I've been doing this for actually wrestling for 12 years. About 6 years ago, I decided I was going to run my own show. Just to give it a shot. I thought everybody else was doing it. But before I did that, I went around to every promotion I ever worked for, and I watched how they ran a show. And I took a piece from every promotion, what they did, and then I kind of put my own stamp on it. And I went out and I got the big banners to put out, you know, everywhere you see a big banner in front of Walmart or in front of the actual place that I'm having the show. I go and get these huge posters. I got this idea from AWF over in Chipley. You know, they use these big posters. Thing is, I don't just go to the town I'm in. I went today and went to seven small towns around the area and just flooded the area with these posters. You know, I put my time and effort into this.
And what is that called? Promoting.
You know,
Sorry, we won't make you say it. We'll say it.
You know, my wife, as everybody knows, which is Sexy Samantha, she doesn't do any valeting anymore for own personal reasons, but she hates this time of year because I'm never home. It may be 9 o'clock every night that I get home because I'm out putting a poster somewhere, I'm out handing out a flyer somewhere, I'm out talking to a sponsor somewhere, I'm doing something so the crowd shows up. Because if the crowd don't show up, the money doesn't come in, the boys don't get paid, and I'm all about paying the boys. And you can ask any guy that's in this business, a lot of them are going to go out and give their 100% regardless, but if they got 300, 400, 500 people to do it in front of, the match quality goes up that much higher.
Oh so, yeah, you know, because you know they're feeding off the crowd, and if they're used to working in front of anywhere from 50 to 150 people, and all of a sudden they see, wow, there's like 5 times that number there, and it's 5 times louder, and 5 times more people going on. You know, it's the competitive nature of the athlete that's out there. They're going to want to step their game up a notch. So I firmly believe in what you're saying.
And, you know, they feel that adrenaline. You know, the adrenaline gets to going, the louder the people get. And I can honestly say that the Crestview crowd is so easy. What I mean by easy is they just, anything you do, they want to get loud for. You know, they just get crazy for anything. You know, hip toss, them jokers are acting like you just, you know.
Why? It's a wrestling move.
So
it's not sports entertainment.
Yeah.
So, but you know, whatever y'all want to talk about the show, y'all let you know. We can go over whatever you want to talk about.
Do you want to go over the card, or okay? Let's start with the card.
Well, like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a couple years. I've tried to do it for a couple years, and I finally got a hold of Road Dogg, and he was able to get a hold of Billy Gunn for me. And for the first time ever on an independent show on the Gulf Coast, granted they have been here for WWE at the time, WWF at the time.
Right.
But this is the first time ever that the New Age Outlaws will be at an independent wrestling show on the Gulf Coast.
Sweet.
You know, I got them coming in. The newly announced, the star of the show, in my opinion. Nothing against Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, and Dogg will tell you the same thing. The newest member of the WWE Hall of Fame, the legendary Bullet Bob Armstrong, will be on the show.
Yeah. Hell yes. I got chopped by the Bullet, baby. By a Hall of Famer. A Hall of Famer.
You know, in that match, it's going to be a 6-man tag in the main event. It's going to be those 3 versus myself, Mike Thrash, and Chris Ty, with Big Dog Ryan Mills, who, as everybody knows, is my personal manager. And I've been doing a personal manager 3 years before Del Rio ever thought about doing a personal manager.
I hear you.
So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
Nothing against WWE, but I was doing the idea, you know, 3 years ago.
That's what we're talking about.
Gimmick infringement.
This show, as I said, was one of my bigger ones because I went out and I've got the return from Ring of Honor. I got, you know, BTY Colby Godwin coming back. He's going to be taking on a a guy who's been performing with, I believe it's Dragon Gate.
Right.
Scotty Ray's, they were on the last pay-per-view, him and his brother Billy.
Right.
That's the semi-main we got going. Some other matches on the card. I'm going to have the Master of Devastation, Cameron Frost, taking on the other half of the Sin City Saints, Billy Ray's. In a tag match, I got Pretty Boy Donnie B and Ryan Holland with Mackenzie York in their corner, taking on the King. I think he's called the Last King or the Last Legend, Doug Pitt. I'm not sure which one is. The Last King of Wrestling, Doug Pitt, and Psycho Joe Milo, who's making his return to the ring for a while, with Eddie G in their corner. That's a tag match we got. Gonna have a triple threat match. Gonna have the feature Carlos D'Angelo versus Brutal Joe Gibson.
Oh yeah.
Versus Mr. Marcus Gibbs.
Sweet.
That's a three-way we got. I see. I got Scarface Waylon Barley with Dandy Jack in his corner, taking on a gentleman who has just been recently released from Florida Championship Wrestling, which everyone knows is the WWE's Farm League.
Right.
Paul Jourdain. He's coming up to do a show, so that should be another good match.
Sweet.
I think that about covers that six matches. Yeah, that about covers the match. I might have 6, maybe 7 matches. Maybe a surprise match in there. You know that may end up showing up or something. You know that works. This is a wrestling card.
This is true. Besides, you never know what is going on in the mind of Mr. Fantasy.
So also we have a special guest ring announcer that night. Me and this gentleman have had words the last couple of years. He is the host of the Morning Rap and Southern Sports Tonight. His name is Rob Brown. He works for 100.3 The Ticket, which is a sports talk radio show.
Right.
A lot of people know who he is because of.
Is that the same guy that was talking smack last year?
Yep.
I think you need to pile drive him, man.
Last year he put his hands on me, so this year, I'm a well-hated gentleman, and I kind of take pride in that, to be honest with you. But yeah, we've had words on the radio since, and Rob Brown, if you watch this, and I'm sure you will, I'm gonna whip your ass this year.
Can we put a fantasy pile drive this Brown dude bounty out, man? Like hold money to you to pile drive?
Sure, man. I'll take. If you want to give me money, I'll do whatever you want.
Sweet. That's right. You heard it there, disc jockey dude, man. This Mr. Fantasy Mark is going to be holding out cold, hard, green cash to make him pile driver you on your head.
I'd like to, if we could, I'd like to name a couple sponsors at the moment. We'll kind of go through all of them eventually.
Absolutely, man.
If it wasn't for my sponsors, I could not do this show. That's the honest to God truth. I don't have the income like that to put my own show on like that. I have several sponsors. We'll kind of go through a list of them right now, and then as the show goes on, we'll kind of mention some more.
Absolutely.
I'll just go alphabetically, which is the easiest thing to do. I'd like to go ahead and mention AAA Mortgage, A Classic Traditional Tattoo Parlor.
Oh yeah,
which you gentlemen know.
That's right. Long time Front Row Fanatics.
Adams Automotive, Alpha and Omega Cleaning Service, Ann's Painting.
Is that Mercury and Platinum?
No. We got Ann's Painting, Arnett Septic, Azteca Mexican Restaurant, Baker Metal Works, Bear Creek Incorporated, BK Motors, Blocker Bell Bonds, Blunt's Emporium, Cars by George, Crestview Paint and Body, Cutting Edge, DNW's Cafe, Danco's Transmission, Earl's Seafood, Elegant Style Salon and Spa. If you ever need anything, they got everything you need there. Haircuts to massages to Brazilian waxes, whatever you need.
Woo! Happy ending.
Forever Victoria Antique Mall and Fowler Septic are just a few to name right now. I said I got a whole list more, but we'll get to the other ones a little bit later. Like I said, I want to give a special thank you to them. I said if it wasn't for these guys, and these are all, and the best thing about these guys is they're all local Crestview ran businesses that are willing to help another local guy, put on a show for the community. And, the thing I think I like best about my show is it's very family oriented. Children can come out and don't have to worry about, not saying it again, all the shows I've been to lately have been very family oriented. But, at one time there were some shows around that you didn't want to take the children to. So that's what I try to do is keep them family oriented. So.
And I promise I'll behave. I don't want to get pummeled out there by Mr. Fantasy outside the ring either. So, Do we need to take a break? We got time. What's going on?
Keep rolling with it.
All right. So let's see. I have a slight question here. Okay, you had this feud going on with this Rob Brown dude. You know, why in the world would a radio personality talk smack to someone with your experience and connections in the wrestling business? You know, I mean.
You know, I've known Rob for a while, and at one time we were friends. I think he kind of, I let him, you know, I didn't let him. I asked him to come do the ring announcing for me because I knew he's always liked, you know, the whole wrestling scene, and I honestly think he got a big head out of the situation, you know. And I kind of told him one time, you need to kind of step back, and he kind of took offense to it. And, you know, give him credit. He's got his own fan base. You know, I know for a fact he's got 30 or 40 people coming himself, you know, that are going to be there in basically, you know, quote unquote, in his corner, you know. And I'm sure, to be honest, when it's all said and done, the majority of the crowd is going to be in his corner, you know. But I've done told him face to face, and I've told him on the radio several times, if you get in my way this year, the consequences and repercussions of the situation will not favor you when it's all said and done.
Sweet.
So
I'll be sporting my Mr. Fantasy t-shirt that I got last year courtesy of this gentleman, man. Now, any one of them Rob Brown chumps want to get up, come see the Gargoyle, baby. Me and Mr. Fantasy, we got it going on now. We will take care of business.
I will let Rob Brown know that my not only will my personal ring announcer be there, my personal bodyguard will be there too. He goes by the name of Bad Boy Curtis Leroy. He will be at the show. Leroy doesn't do a lot of matches anymore. He does do this one every year. You know, they call him I believe Jay Fillsbury at one time said he was the maniacal, unpredictable, suicidal Curtis Leroy. So Rob Brown, I'm just giving you fair warning. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight, because I'm bringing the biggest guns I got.
He does punch hard. I will say that. Not that I've been a recipient, fortunately for myself. Seen it in action. Seen it in action. Cheech, you got anything you'd like to sound in on?
I do.
Man?
I know there's a lot of people out there that when they go to a wrestling show, one of their favorite things is to eat. Unfortunately, what is your cafe going to be like, and what are you going to have if you know what you got so far on that?
You know, we have a pretty good concession stand, or cafe, whatever you want to call it. We have, you know, we got pizza. We'll have nachos and cheese. We'll have hot dogs. We'll have chips and sodas and water. You know, of course, we'll have, you know, the candies and the pickles the kids like.
Absolutely.
You know, and to be honest, it's not too bad, you know, price for anything. A lot of places, you know, especially go to, you know, ball games, man, their concession stands are ridiculous. You know, come hungry, please. You know, I said I'm going to buy, you know, something, you know, 15, 20 pizzas, you know, something like that. So we'll go from there, you know. Yeah. Also, this time, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a minute to just say that, you know, Bob Little passed away, you know, May 2nd, I believe it was. Bob Little was always a big, huge supporter of my show. He was always there, always had his own table. You know, he always offered stuff up to give, for me to give as door prizes. At my show, and I told Bobby all this, and I had thought about this for Bob never asked anybody to do it. And he did ask, so you know, there will be a table set up in Bob Liddell's honor. There will be nobody sitting at that table. It will be in the same place it always was, by the front door.
Nice.
I said a lot of people didn't like Bob. Me and Bob had our own, you know, words before over his, you know, his website. But in the end, Bob was good for independent wrestling. Bob did more than his fair share and never charged a dime. An example of that, as you know, at one time I was using some of Ric Flair's music to come out to, but I didn't use his whole music. I used a part of his song that broke into a song I've used since I started actually, you know, actively wrestling. And he called me to his house, told me to come over. He showed me how to use the program, but then took and made the DVD or the disc for me himself. I mean, it was perfect. It went from the Flair right into my song, no skip, the same beat, and I used it for years. You know, and Bob did that by the goodness of his heart. Didn't charge me a dime, didn't charge me for the CD, didn't charge me for, you know, copying the program for me so I could put it on my computer. you know, I just wish Bob would have been more aware of his health.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. Because I can say the same thing about Bob as you have. Bob and I became friends a while ago. You know, did we always agree on every topic of wrestling? No. He had his likes, I had mine. His favorites, I had mine. But he was always up for open discussion. I mean, when he wrote his book, he even mentioned me in there. Why? I mean, why the hell are you mentioning me? Who the hell am I? I'm not out there putting my body out there on the line like these guys are. So, you know. And he took pictures of me. And anytime he took photos of me or my daughter, he'd make sure I had a copy of them, you know. He went out there and he genuinely loved independent wrestling on the Gulf Coast in here. And he took a lot of grief, sometimes more than I thought necessary for a guy that's out there doing, as you said, so much work for so many people, trying to help so many people.
For free.
Yeah, and taking
you know,
as much abuse as he did.
You know, all he ever asked for, you know, was just to let him set his table up.
I hear you.
You know, and it's not like he, you know, because he was not selling pictures of the boys. He was not selling, you know, he was selling
stuff.
Literally, it was
stuff.
Junk. And I mean, Bobby Dog said it, not in a bad way. It was just, you know, I said one time he had knives, and I was like, Bob, this is
no, that's not cool.
You know, this is, you understand these guys get mad at us, right?
Thank you.
So,
good heels
you know,
could be the recipient of some of that stuff.
So, but Bob, man, he was just a good dude, and the Gulf Coast, not only wrestling, but the whole community of Pensacola and the whole Gulf Coast independent wrestling lost a good dude.
I hear you. I hear you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here I stand in front of a classic traditional tattoo parlor. This man here has helped me out more times than anybody else on my show. Pat here, he owns this tattoo shop here at 567 South Main Street. If you need any kind of tattoos done, come see Big Pat. He does great work. I've seen it myself. He's also got another guy here named Teron who does great work also. Like I said, 567 South Main Street. Come see this man, Big Pat.
I just work at medical records, not a nurse.
Are we getting there?
What's up? I'll holler at y'all though. Y'all be good. Cool.
Not wanted, are you?
We're doing a cover.
No, but I can just, no, I really just don't want to be on TV.
Right, Gulf Coast independent wrestling fans, welcome back to the Front Row Fanatics. I'm the Gargoyle with
Cheech.
And the one, the only, Mr. Fantasy, and we're discussing the upcoming SWA, Southern Wrestling Alliance show. So, with that being said, I guess we're going to start making some predictions or something, or what's going on there, Cheech? Talk to me, Big Daddy.
Well, we can fine-tune the show, talk about location, time, cost, and all that stuff, and
cool,
then we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. The show's going to be Saturday night, June 25th, at the National Guard Armory on Highway 90, Crestview. If you're coming from Pensacola, you know, it's East Highway 90 is all you need to know. Get the 85 and 90 red line, go east on 90. You can't miss the place.
Sweet.
You know, the admission price is $10 for 12-year-olds and up. 6-year-olds to 11-year-olds are $8. And 5 and under is free. That is with a paid adult. Please don't drop your children off. Okay. It's happened before. Okay. You know, I think for the price, we put on a pretty good quality show.
Absolutely.
You know, I said this is the biggest names so far that I've ever had. I've had Marty Jannetty. I've had Buff Bagwell at one time, but he reneged on me at the last minute.
He didn't want a Mr. Fantasy ass whooping, that's what it was.
I don't know what it was, but it pissed me off. I've had Brad Armstrong, I've had Road Dogg before, I've had Scott Armstrong, Steve Armstrong, but to have the New Age Outlaws, the 7-time WWE Tag Team Champions, along with the newly inducted WWE Hall of Famer, the Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Hell yes.
You know, I look for this to be a big time show. So.
I'm all about it. I think the fans will turn out in droves as they always do. I mean, like you said, the newly inducted Bullet, the Outlaws were always popular. They got it going on. So, hey, I mean, I think the crowd's going to be large and amped for some good wrestling action.
So yeah, I mean, if y'all want to go over the card again, I can go over the card again. You know, y'all make y'all's predictions.
Just do the match predictions.
Of course, I have my prediction for the main event. But, you know,
We already know you're going to win, man.
You know,
you're going to win.
But we'll start with the opening match. Is going to be Cameron, the Master of Devastation, Cameron Frost, versus one half of the Sin City Saints, Billy Reyes.
So my prediction on that is going to be, of course, MOD, baby.
I hear you. I thoroughly agree 100%. Cameron Frost getting the Duke over my boy Evil Billy, you know. Two guys I've been fans of for quite a while, you know. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining, athletically, high-paced match. Looking forward to it, but I'm still going for...
Is he going to do the Evil Billy? I've heard that sometimes he doesn't like the Evil Billy.
This is true. This is true. We don't know. We don't know, but my prediction also is the MOD Cameron Frost.
Match number 2, which has not been mentioned, so I'll just go ahead and say it. It's not on the card. We're going to do David Prime versus Wildman Dorian. Who's coming. So,
Interesting matchup. I'm going to have to go with the Gargoyle's close personal friend, David Prime.
Sweet. I'm all about it. Brother Dave, Gargoyle's got your back.
Do y'all believe that Prime can pick Dorian up for a spine buster?
Yes, I do.
You think he can?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. That's all I can say.
I'm just waiting to hear him tell everything to shut up. The third match of the evening is going to be the last King of Wrestling, Doug Pitt, teaming with Psycho Joe Milo with Eddie G. And they're the manager of champions, the self-proclaimed superstar himself, Eddie G. Taking on Pretty Boy Donnie B and his tag partner, Ryan Holland, with Mackenzie York in their corner.
Interesting. Cheech, you want to go first? You want me to go first? For me, I believe it's going to be Psycho Milo and Doug Pitt getting the Duke in this match.
I'd have to agree with you. They're the ones teaming up with Eddie G, right? Yeah.
This will be a return for Psycho Milo. I don't think Psycho Milo, that character, has been active.
I think he did it in my show last year.
This is true.
And a lot of people in the Gulf Coast love that character, so it'll be neat to see him again.
That plus you throw in Doug Pitt's amateur wrestling skills combined with what he's learned as a pro.
Now, I actually haven't seen Doug in action for a while either.
Doug's been on the sidelines with an injury, but I think he had a return match here a while back, a couple matches.
Between his size being the largest of the guys and athletic amateur skills and the craziness of Psycho Milo, that's to me what is going to give the edge to that team.
So it's Pretty Boy Donnie B and Ryan Holland.
Right.
That's a pretty good combination. I like Milo and Doug Pitt. Those guys they're hot. They're good. Okay.
Fourth match of the evening is going to pit Scarface Waylon Barley with Dandy Jack in his corner versus former Florida Championship Wrestling WWE what's the word? Developmental talent, Paul Jourdain.
Nice. I actually happened to see Paul Jourdain while he was down there in FCW in Tampa. I went on a road trip down there to visit a friend of mine who has a promotion. ASW All-Star Wrestling's a promotion. Cheap plug from a boy, Nick Major and company. And I saw him in there in an 8-man tag match with Low Key as his partner and some other guys. So Paul Jourdain's got the look. He's got the ability to deliver the goods. Him and Scarface have a bit of a history going on. I'm going to go for Paul Jourdain in this match as my pick.
I would have to agree with you on that. I think Paul Jourdain's going to take the win on this one here. And God, I hate to say it, Scarface, but I am going to have to go with Jourdain on this one.
The number, I think we're on the fifth match of the night. It's going to be a triple threat match. We have Brutal Joe Gibson versus Mr. Marcus Gibbs versus the returning one time only, the feature Carlos D'Angelo.
Let me say something about this match. This match has the potential to be the match of the night. This is a wrestling purist match. Carlos Joe and Marcus. That's going to be good. Triple. Predictions.
Well, to me, this is one of the matches that has me most intrigued. 3 guys that I really enjoy watching work. Love them all, man. I'm going to go with a dose of Los is going to be my prediction for the winner of that match.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really good technical match, and I would have to agree with you. I was on the feature, Carlos D'Angelo. Haven't seen him in action in a while. Don't even know if he's been in action in a while, but I do look forward to seeing him at this venue. It's going to be good.
The semi-main event of the evening is the return from Ring of Honor, BTY Colby Godwin versus the other half of the Sin City Saints, who also has just recently done a stint with Dragon Gate, and I do apologize to Billy Reyes. He also did a stint with Dragon Gate. Try to give him his plug. So it's going to be, I said, the returning BTY Colby Godwin from Ring of Honor versus the other half of the Sin City Saints, who also just had a spot with Dragon Gate, Scotty Reyes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You go ahead and take it first this time, Paylord.
Scotty Reyes versus BTY. This is another potential match of the night. I mean, Scotty works well with anybody, and his size and BTY size, they'll probably do a lot of stuff. I can't predict who will win, but I'd like to see Scotty win.
Cheech?
It's just a bit of a size difference, but Scotty's got the speed, and I'm going to have to go with BTY, hands down for me, unfortunately.
I agree with you too, and no disrespect to Scotty Reyes, who is continually working hard. You can look at him when he comes into the ring. Excuse me, drinking too many beers. Comes into the ring, dude is cut. He's in phenomenal condition. You can see that he's working out in the gym. High flyer, dude's got skills. You know, I mean, I've watched him for a long time too here in the Gulf Coast, and you know, I dig some Scotty Reyes. But then again, you've got to look at the reality concept. You've got Scotty Reyes. I'm going to be generous and say 5'7", 150 pounds, you know, athletic, high-flying, well-skilled. But then you've got Colby Godwin. You know, I'm guesstimating here too. So if I get your stats wrong there, Colby, forgive me. You know, 6'4", 220. Dude's lost a lot of weight and gotten ripped. His time up in Philly there with the Ring of Honor has showed that it's paid off in spades, man. We watched him down there in Tampa against the ASW Elite Champion Kendi Kendrick. You know, it shows, I believe this is going to be another awesome match, and it shows once again that with your wrestling mind, you're putting together a card that the fans want to see, man. BTY all the way.
We got to mention Scotty's abs. The girls love Scotty. Come to the show, spend your money, look at Scotty Reyes, John Morrison abs.
I don't look at his abs.
I don't either, but I wish I had them, but I'm not looking at them.
And then we got the main event. So we have the former 7-time WWE Tag Team Champions, the Road Dogg Jesse James and the Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws, teaming up with the newly inducted WWE Hall of Famer, the Bullet Bob Armstrong, in my opinion was way overdue, versus Every Woman's Dream, Mr. Fantasy, myself, with Big Dog Ryan Mills, my personal manager, teaming with Mike Thrash, who's returning for the first time. He hasn't worked in over a year. Former Dan Delicious, as they all know, but he is now Mike Thrash. He said he's done with the whole Dan Delicious gimmick. And I also have Chris Ty in our corner, and also, like I said, my personal bodyguard will be out there at ringside in Bad Boy Curtis Leroy.
Sweet.
All right, prediction.
Predictions. You know, if you look at it strictly, you know, at a quick glance, you're going to say, wow, you've got New Age Outlaws, 7-time WWE champions. You know, you've got Bullet Bob Armstrong, a wrestling legend, not only just here in the Southeast, but around the world, you know, against local guys. But my pick, I'm taking Mr. Fantasy, Mike Thrash, and DOT, the definition of technician, Chris Ty, in what most people would call an upset, but I'm feeling it, man. I'm picking Mr. Fantasy and his group.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon too and go with Team Fantasy on this one.
You know, this match is, and I said I'm not making a prediction by no means because I ain't trying to piss off that the guys I got to wrestle already that's going to be mad at me anyways. But this is something I've been looking forward to for a long time now. This was set back in February. I got the details on this and everything was finalized the end of February. I've been training real hard. I've lost 25 pounds to get ready for this show. I'm not where I want to be. I am still, working hard to lose some more. But I promise I'm coming out to give the best performance that I've ever given at any independent show I've ever been at. Because I said it doesn't get any bigger than the New Age Outlaws and legendary Bullet Bob Armstrong.
If I was a wrestler, and I'm sure you probably would agree, this would have to be a bucket list item right there.
So yeah, it is. You're right. I can mark something else off my list now. Yeah. To be honest, I had two main goals when I first started. To people I wanted to actually get in the ring with. Of course, that's grown since then. But I have taken care of. I've worked every Armstrong in the business. We'll now be working. The New Age Outlaws, who are always one of my favorite tag teams. My last one, it'll never happen, but I've always got the dream, and that's to work Ric Flair. But you never know if I can get the right damn sponsor. I promise you, Ric Flair will be at the building sometime or another.
Maybe you can bail him out. That might work.
So, I hear you. I'll sign your bond if you work my show, man. Because
favor.
Yeah, I hate saying that, man, but there's a bench worn out for him. And he had an appearance in Charlotte today. I hope Nate was prepared for the police coming up there, man. Nate, you are a god, man. Take care of your business.
Before we go any further, guys, I just want to list the rest of my sponsors here real quick.
Absolutely, man.
Because if it wasn't for these guys, this show would not be happening. Any show I've ever had would not be happening because I have a great sponsor base.
Right.
They've never told me no, or they've told me they couldn't do it at this time, but come back next month. But they've always been there to help me.
Right.
And so I want to do all I can to get their name out there.
Absolutely.
These are all local guys here in Crestview. Crestview in the Baker area. I got a couple out of Baker. But they are the reason the show happens. They're the reason New Age Outlaws are here. They're the reason that Bullet Bob Armstrong's here. They're the reason that, in the past, Marty Jannetty and Brad Armstrong,
right,
and Scott Armstrong and Steve Armstrong, they're the reason that they were there. And I want to thank them personally. I want to go ahead and say that we're going to start. I want to thank Full Moon Tanning, GOB LLC, Gordon Martial Arts, Helms Construction, Henley Concrete and Masonry, Hub City Pond, Jacob Lock Construction Incorporated, Laurel Hill Grill. That's a small town up the area, up the road here, Laurel Hill. That's also this local area, small town.
Oh yeah.
They may have 2,500, 300 people live up there, but this lady up there loves wrestling so much she sponsors my show every year. Main Street Title Company, Michael Dean Construction, Myrick House Movers, OC's Towing and Recovery, Okaloosa Signs, Rogers and Grant Septic, Reitman Supply Incorporated, Shalon Chick, Scott Hicks Incorporated, Signs Galore, Strickland Tire Company of Crestview LLC, SNL Auto Body, Summer Signs, Sunshine Style Salon, Marty Nopes, PA, that's a lawyer. If you ever need anybody, go see Marty. It'll get you out of trouble. And the Holloway Agency. That's my list of sponsors. I know it's quite long. We had to break up into two segments, but I just want to tell each one. Oh, I also want to mention they're not on here, but they will be on my banner at the show. The Econo Lodge. They also help out. So please, if you're in the area and and you want something to eat, go to one of the restaurants that sponsor me. Azteca Mexican Restaurant.
There you go.
That may be the only restaurant I have on here. No, I'm sorry, D&W's Cafe. Go to the local places. If you're in town, go stay at the Econo Lodge. If you drive from wherever you drive from, if it's more than an hour drive, you don't feel like driving back. They'll give you a good rate. If you need any kind of transmission work done, go see Danco Transmission. If you need a house bill, Jacob Lock Construction and Scott Hicks Construction, or Scott Hicks Incorporated, they're good dudes. Mike Dean Construction, he's a really good dude. They'll give you, they'll do you right. They're not going to do you wrong. Just, let's keep the sponsors happy so that they can keep us happy so we can keep putting shows on.
Support indie wrestling and support your local businesses, man. Because like you said, when you deliver a quality product, which you have for the last several years, the sponsors are still on board, so it shows obviously that you're doing something right. Big crowds, large groups of sponsors means everybody's happy, man. So I am thoroughly looking forward to this Southern Wrestling Alliance show here in June, man. I mean, I'm stoked.
I would also like to say, you know, if you ever need a tattoo, you know, a lot of people don't do tattoos. I've got several just because, and they're all related to my children. Go see A Classic Traditional Tattoo Parlor. Big Pat there does a great job, does great work. He is a really good dude, and he's a really big ass dude, okay? But he's really good at what he does. You know, he's the only tattoo shop on the sponsor list, but he always sponsors me every year, no questions asked. And he comes to the show and he supports the show too.
Yes, he does. A great guy who we had the privilege to meet last year. You know, longtime sponsor of Front Row Fanatics. You know, so we got some love there. We'd also like to tell all you area wrestling fans, GulfCoastWrestlingNews.com, the site that is dedicated to the memory of Bob Liddell and hoping to keep the tradition of giving fans, promoters, wrestlers a place where they can put themselves over, talk about shows, talk about themselves, whatever, you know, to keep independent wrestling in the Gulf Coast area, that area thriving, growing into the next millennium, you know. So GulfCoastWrestlingNews.com, sign up. This is, you know, in no way meant to disrespect Bob, but to honor his hard work and dedication to independent wrestling in the Gulf Coast.
Every promotion, join in on it. Put your posters up. Let everybody know what's going on. And it is to keep Gulf Coast Wrestling alive, because basically everybody is left in the dark of where Bob's site is going, where it could be, whether it's going to get left alone. Nobody knows. So we're trying to keep it alive so the Gulf Coast can thrive and continue to do what Bob's been doing and keep it going and let it live. And that's the moral of that site, is in memory of Bob Liddell.
Saturday night, June 25th, at the National Guard Armory in Crestview, Florida, on Highway 90. If you can read, some of you may be literate, some of you may not be. It said it's going to be, once again, Saturday night, June 25th, at the National Guard Armory in Crestview, Florida, on Highway 90. Come out and watch Southern Wrestling Alliance put on a great show. You know, all ages are welcome. This is a very family-oriented show. Admission is $10, 12 and up, $8 for 6 to 11 years old, and kids 5 and under are free with a paid adult. You know, there have been concessions there. Once again, we got the New Age Outlaws, the 7-time WWE Tag Team Champions. We got WWE Hall of Famer Bullet Bob Armstrong. We got former WWE Development Talent Paul Jourdain, Ring of Honors Colby Godwin, Dragon Gate Scotty and Billy Ray's. You know, we're going to have great concessions there, just an all-around great time. And one last thing before we go, if you'll look behind me, these here are posters, okay? One of these posters is going to be up for auction. I'm going to have Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and Bob Armstrong sign this poster, and you can take this poster home yourself. You know, just show up. We'll have an auction for it. Be a great piece of memorabilia to take home for your child. Like I said, bring everybody. You know, from 1 to 91. You're all welcome. I promise you're going to be entertained, and you will not leave. You will not leave the place not entertained, and you will not be there and be disgusted by anything that happens at the show.
That's it. If you're thinking about going to a wrestling show, this is the one you want to see. Don't miss it. It's good family fun. It's affordable. And just make sure you're there.
And we'll see you where?
In the front row.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!